Hey, welcome to Gen X Unhinged. My name is Dave, and across from me is my cousin Christian. Christian, you got some late breaking news. What's going on?
Yeah, well, we went in and got Maduro this morning. We needed to. We got him out of there. Him and his wife. They're actually on a ship right now on the way to New York to face drug charges. So that's pretty
So
cool.
Maduro, that's the head guy in Venezuela, right?
Yes, yeah, yeah. He was the not real president. I guess he cheated in an
Right.
election, and there was a lot going on with it. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah. So did they have you got reports how they got him? Did they just
No,
they just went in there and
they
got him?
just went in and stormed them. I watched a lot of the video on it, and they blew a lot of people. They blew a lot of things up, and I mean, there's just very sparse reports coming out. Trump's doing a press conference right now, which I'm not too happy about. I mean, obviously, he didn't know that we were going live today, so
Yeah,
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 I'm gonna have to let him know. I'm
yeah.
gonna send him a message and say, he just doesn't need to be running around here doing things like this. When we're
You
trying to do
you got a
something.
hotline, huh? You got a
Yeah, yeah,
hotline
I
to
got a
the
hotline. I got a hotline. I'm a calling. I'm a calling. Yeah, yeah. Well, I called him this
Well,
morning. He put me to voicemail. So, I mean, evidently he's too busy for me. But, it is what it is.
yeah.
I lost my background. I knew that was going to happen. So, yeah, because I'm on too many things at once. That happens from time to
No worries. You look good still. You're back
time.
up. You look good.
I'm
So,
all
we got some different things to talk about today. So that's exciting about Venezuela. I think that's going to start. Hopefully, that's even going to make the drug problems get better and better. Just real quickly on that, I was watching something and it showed the drug overdose deaths in 2025, and it's like they dropped off a cliff. They've just gone down so dramatically. And you got to think that all of this in Venezuela, the illegal immigrants, all that stuff, it's making a big difference.
Oh, it's making a huge difference. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. Everything's working,
Yeah.
but okay.
Okay. All
Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, it's making a big difference, and we got people. It's just this war on drugs that we've been doing for the last 40 years. It's like we actually are starting to make some headway. So again, that's another kudo to Trump. Later on in the show, we're going to kind of talk about some of his victories that he's had so far in 2000, or that he had in 2025. But that's just another one we can add to the list.
No, he's done very absolutely. I mean, and he
Yeah.
just keeps doing the right thing. And I got more respect for that guy. I mean, he just keeps going and doing it and doing it and doing it. You
Yeah.
got to respect a man like that. He just does what he says he's supposed to do, and that's what we elected him for. I talked to a Democrat the other day, and they had told me um, that people were telling them that that they're hearing from like CNN and all the other places that they talked to Trump support. OAC said that they talked to Trump supporters, and a lot of them are regretting their vote. And I'm like, how could that possibly be the case? I mean, it couldn't possibly be the case, because the fact of the matter is, he is doing everything he ran on. He is doing nothing that he didn't say he was going to do. Everything that
Right.
he said he was going to do, he is doing every single day. And you know what?
Yeah.
I love him for it, man.
Yep. Yep. So we've been talking a lot about taxes and about fraud, and our last live stream, we kind of went down the path with a single guy who makes $60,000, how much taxes he pays. Then we went to a $200,000 double income, no kid, and how much tax they paid. At the end of the day, they both end up broke because the taxes in California are so high. Well, the other argument people make is, well, they need to be taxing the wealthy more. The wealthy are getting away with not being taxed enough. And so what we wanted to look at, well, what are the wealthy, how much taxes are the wealthy paying? So just a real quick breakdown. If you're if you are
Want
a
to say hi to
high income,
Dennis? Dennis from New York just checked in to say hello. Go ahead.
good job, Dennis. Thanks for joining us. So if you're a high income earner, so in California, if you're making over $700,000 a year, that's a lot of money. I
It's
mean,
a
that's a
lot of
lot of
money.
money. No,
Yes.
no doubt about it. But you have hit the marginal tax rate of 12.3%. So everything over $700,000, California is going to tax you at 12.3%. Once you get over $1 million, they add a 1.1% surcharge to that. So they start, that brings it up to 13.4. And then also when you hit $1 million, there's a mental health surtax, they called it, of 1%. So if you're making $1 million, over $1 million a year, granted, it's a lot of money, no doubt
Right.
about it.
Right.
They shouldn't be complaining too loudly, but still, you're paying 14.4% of your income to the state of California for the amount above $1 million.
See, and I disagree. I think they should complain louder because of where the money's going. You know what? No, I'm serious. Like,
You're right.
I would yell and scream if I had that kind of money. They would take it because it's not about. I believe that these people that are rich and they make a lot of money, the billionaires, whatever, they're patriots usually. You know what I mean? And,
Usually,
and they
yeah.
don't mind paying taxes. They don't mind it. They don't hate it. But the problem is where's their money going, man? Did we just keep
Yeah.
taking it and taking it? If it was actually doing what it was supposed to do, there was no fraud, there was no waste, they probably wouldn't have a huge problem. But this is the deal. We're charging them 14%. We're charging everybody 14%. And where's it going? We still have pothole. Hey, our streets should be lined with gold bricks at this point with the amount of money we give them for taxes.
Yeah, well, the taxes, and then they get more federal money than pretty much any other state. Maybe New
Correct.
York gets about the same, but the amount of money the government of California gets is just astronomical.
It's
It
unbelievable.
is
It's
so,
unbelievable.
yeah, it's trillions of dollars. It's not billions anymore. It's trillions of
Right.
dollars per
Right.
year.
Right.
So,
Right.
uh, so along that same vein, I was flipping through X yesterday, and there's another billionaire in California. He's worth about $2 billion. His name was something like Chimea Filipatre or whatever. He's a venture capitalist. Looked him up. He's a legit dude. He's worth a couple $1 billion. And he made a comment yesterday on X that said he knew personally of people combined, if you added them all together, were worth over $500 billion, and they left the state in the last month. So there was a group of people worth up to $500 billion, and in the last month, they've left the state. Why did they do that, you ask? Well, there's this billionaire tax that they're proposing now, where they're going to do a one-time tax on your net worth above $1 billion. So if you are worth $2 billion, you're going to pay this one-time net worth tax of 5%. 5% of $1 billion is $50 million, Christian.
Wow.
These people really would be complaining, saying, "Where is my money going?"
Right. Right.
Maybe you're
Absolutely.
right. Maybe you're right. Maybe they're like, "It's okay. I'm rich. I need to pay my fair share, but you need to use it wisely." Is
Correct.
what
I
you're saying?
agree. I agree. If I was in that position and they were going to tax me for $50 million, me and my
Oh,
accountant would be going down to the state and say, "Okay, here's my check. I want to see where it goes. I want to follow it." You know what I mean? Let's follow this money out. Because it's absolute horse crap. I mean, it is absolutely undeniably the worst. And the problem is where's the money going? We need social services. We need these things. We do need that. But we don't need it at a rate of 47% to every living person in the state of California to go nowhere, to do nothing. Property taxes is going up. They take your house. You don't pay your property tax, they take your house. If
yeah.
you die, so let's say that your parents buy a house, right? And then they die and they give you that house. The death tax is when they come back to your house and they reestablish the tax on the property on today's rates, not where it was set originally when they bought the house. So let's say that you bought the house in 1954 and the property value was 25,000, 30,000, and now they pass away and you get that house in San Jose, it's worth 2.5. Guess what? They're going to come in, they're going to reanalyze it, and they're going to hit you for today's money property tax wise. So in reality, state of California, bud, you don't own your property. You never own your property. As long as property tax is in effect, you never own the ground you pay for ever. You're just renting it while you're here.
Yep. Yep. Well, and so we're talking about these people leaving. So at the same time, you looked it up, like 500 companies have left California in the last couple of years,
Yeah,
right? Gone to
hey,
Texas,
Budweiser
Florida.
left Fairfield just yesterday.
Whoa,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you know,
wow.
everyone's leaving. Chevron left. We're about to go up to $7, $8 a gallon. I just read a thing in Oregon where Oregon is talking to Chevron, and Chevron's like, because I guess you guys are about to experience the same problem we're about to have. And
Yeah,
the CEO of Chevron's like, hey, you made your choice. You made all these regulations. We couldn't afford to stay there, so we left. You know what?
yeah.
And these governors that we continue to vote in, continue to make these decisions, and they continue to absolutely kill us.
So California, before any of that is taken into account, was projecting to have an $18 billion shortfall in their budget.
Yeah,
$18 billion for 2026. Just those billionaires that left alone, they're paying roughly $3 billion a year in taxes, just their income tax to the state.
right,
So
right.
that $18 billion deficit just went to 21 billion. Budweiser leaving, you got to think they're paying a lot of taxes.
Oh,
That's just adding to that.
absolutely.
Right. I
Well,
mean,
and the employees that work for them pay the taxes. I mean, we forget about that. I hear about all these people always saying, we need to tax these companies, these big companies, Amazon and all these things, that we need to tax them. Well, you got to understand something that a company that size that employs tens of thousands of people within the state, every one of those employees pays taxes. So you
yeah,
would lower the tax on Amazon so that Amazon could increase the amount of people that it needs because the more it employs, the more taxes they get. So it's like filling the well. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But if you
yeah,
overtax them, what'll happen is if you overtax Amazon, then all of a sudden their tax rate's way up here. 5,000 people lose their jobs, because they got to pay these
yeah,
taxes, and then the state actually loses money on that.
yeah. It's like this you, you're talking common core math and how stupid it is. That's how stupid these people are, because that's just like economics 101 right there. That's not hard stuff to figure out.
No,
uh
no, 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 absolutely not. But evidently it's horrible. And evidently it's really hard to figure it out because these people
yeah,
can't figure it out.
yeah, I,
But hey, they keep trying. We keep taxing them. You know what I mean? Hey, I'm telling you, with the amount of fraud and it's hard for me to actually say, hey, to pay taxes right now. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
we all owe our fair share, but at what point is it no longer the fair share? At what point is everybody getting our fair share? We're paying it, but where so if you embezzled $18 billion, right? That's what's starting to look like in Minnesota right now, right?
right,
That money wasn't taxed. They didn't pay for that taxes on that money.
right,
There was no sales tax on that money. There was no property tax on that money. There was no nothing on that money. It was $18 billion of tax-free money that you, the taxpayer, paid for in the state of Minnesota, and it's just as bad out here in California. Just
yep,
remember, we're all over the United States in our show right now. You got to remember something. We paid for all of it, and we continue to pay every single month. We continue to pay for this. We have an economy in California like $4 trillion, right? We bring in trillions of dollars a year in taxes, and we're still $18 billion short. How? We don't have a train. People still in the Palisades don't have houses. We got potholes. I don't see a lot of construction. You know what I mean? Where's the money going, man? Where's it going?
yeah.
If it was being spent on social services, why don't we have mental health hospitals all over the state? Why don't we have brand new facilities going in every city, brand new medical facilities? Why don't we have that?
So along those same veins, the cost of living. So we thought, okay, let's look at the cost of living in California. California and New York, surprise, surprise, they're the two highest cost of living states. So if you come up with the average for all 50 states and call that 100%, California's cost of living is 142%, 42% higher than the average state in America.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
how do people, I mean, yeah, I tell you, we're gonna be voting again here in 2026.
Correct.
Republicans, people that have a clue, you gotta get out and vote. We gotta start making these
Well, we've
changes.
got to, we've got to, we have to, because but the problem is they are so ingrained at what is exactly going on. They're so in our stuff. You know what I mean? And the Democrats, they just refuse to see the light. Look, you don't gotta vote Republican, but vote independent. The Democrats are dirty. They are absolutely positively 100% dirty right now. Okay? And I'm not saying all Democrats are bad, because they're not. But you gotta stop and look at what you're voting for. It's the proof is in the pudding. Look at
Yeah,
what Gavin Newsom has done to this state. If you can't, hey, everybody talks about track records. When you hire somebody, a job application, you look at what they've done in the past. You look at what they've made in the past, all that stuff. You look at all that, right? Why don't we look at that? When you go to the voting polls and you vote, look at what these people have done. Okay? With Kamala Harris, nothing. When Waltz,
nothing.
evidently Waltz did a lot. He figured out how to steal a ton of money, and then he gave up his governor's mansion to the Somali people. Yeah, Somali flag in Minnesota on the governor's mansion. That, to me, that's insurrection. I'm sorry. You put another flag of another country on top of a building in a city. I'm sorry. That's bad. That's really bad.
Bad news. So took it a step further and thought, okay, nationwide, what are the 10 highest states cost of living wise? I won't go through them, but there's the 10 highest states cost of living wise. 9 of them are blue states. 9 of the 10. The 10th one is Alaska. They're the only reason their cost of living is so high is because they live in Alaska. I
Right,
mean,
but
yeah,
also remember, in the state of Alaska, as a resident, you get a paycheck every
you get
month
money
for the
back.
oil, right? From the
Yeah,
oil
yeah,
every month. So yeah,
every
it's the most
month.
expensive, but I bet you if you take that money and you put it in with it, I bet you it brings it down.
I I don't disagree. I 100% agree with you. But so 9 out of 9 of the highest cost of living blue states. I didn't go any further than that.
Right.
Lowest cost of living in America. 9 out of 10 are red states. 9
Really?
out of 10 are the lowest. It's just exact opposites. I mean, if this doesn't tell you something, I'm not sure what's going to.
But
I mean,
and it can't, because they won't be wrong. That's the problem. The part of the left are so ingrained in their thought process that they're wrong. They can't be wrong. Even Bill Maher is saying that. Like, when do you guys move on from Trump? Like, when do you guys step away from Trump?
yeah, from the TDS.
Yeah, beating up on Trump. What's that do for you? It's doing nothing. I mean, keep it up. Keep it up. As far as I'm concerned, you know what I mean. I mean, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, this is where you and I disagree a little bit because I think that there are still we've got these centrist Democrats that are going to figure this out or are figuring it out. They're not going to keep voting for this. These people, there's some smart people that are Democrats. I don't always get it. I don't understand it, but there are. And I believe that's the group that's going to vote either independent or Republican or just not going to vote. And that's going to help the Republicans
No,
coming up.
and I agree. But I posted a video the other day on Gen X Unhinged, and check this out. There's a black gentleman, and he's saying, you know what? Trump just gave $500 million to historically black college fund, right? He gave him that
Yeah.
money, and he cut the money from historically white colleges, because of what they're doing with the anti-Semitism and all that stuff. And he was on
Right.
him saying, and we're still out here as a community calling this man a racist. He says that's how ingrained and how brainwashed we are as a people, that the Democratic Party is our people, is our party. He's sitting there
Yeah.
giving $500 million to our college and taking it away from white colleges, and you're still mad at it.
Yeah.
And it made a lot of sense to me. They deserved it. Those colleges that are, hey, anti-Semitism, there's no room for that. First Amendment right, absolutely all the way. But you know what? Come on now, you know?
Yeah. 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 But would it really be a bad thing if Harvard shut down? Probably not. So,
Probably not.
I'm
Probably not.
okay.
It's not like they're teaching. I mean, they are teaching, but I mean, the problem is that degrees have become money makers. See what I'm saying? Like you went to accounting college for accounting. Okay, that's a job, right? But when you're
Right.
getting I had a friend of mine that their daughter they were talking, and she said that my daughter is studying to be she's getting her librarian's degree or librarian degree, and I'm like, okay. I mean, no, that's fine. I said, but is there a big job market for that? Number one, and number two, every librarian I've ever met, I don't know if they were college educated. They were at our school. They're really good at their
Yeah.
job, but do you really need a degree for that? I mean, maybe you do.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you do. I don't know. I mean, when you get a librarian degree, do you know every book by heart? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're working at the Library of Congress, I guess. But I mean, what do you do? Like, do you get a degree and, hey, where's this book? Yeah, it's on shelf 945. I mean, I don't get it. I'll leave it alone.
Yeah. You know who Mike Rowe is, the guy that did the dirty jobs,
Yes,
and
yes.
and he's really big on trade schools and what have you, and he's come out and said, you're told from a kid you have to follow your passion, do what you love. There's a point where that's baloney. You've got to figure out a way to make money. That's what you have to get jobs that make money. You can't just go get a degree in liberal arts, as a women's studies major. It's
Right.
great, but you're not going to be able to support your family on it. And at the end
Correct.
of the day, that's what we have to do is we have to
Correct.
support our families. You know,
See, and that's what's
you got
happened. We have focused so much, even in our generation, Gen Xers, we were pounded, pounded. You got to go to school. You got to go to school. You got to go to school. Well, now what's happened is they had to switch. So now they're sitting at home with no job in their parents' basement
yeah,
with their degree saying, yeah, but I'm educated. I can't get a
yeah,
job, but I'm educated. Well, there's also a guy that went out and went to work at his neighbor's shop, and he's a full-blown mechanic now. You know what I mean?
right,
And making $130, $140 an hour, you know?
right.
And he didn't even barely graduate high school. I mean, yeah, education's great. I'm not knocking it at all, but education is not your life.
It has to lead to something.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
You're
I mean,
getting educated that's going to lead to something that you can do for the rest of your life. So,
yeah, right. But they don't. They
no,
don't. They just complain. They just complain and whine and tell us how stupid they are,
yeah,
how stupid we are, constantly telling us how
yeah.
stupid we are.
No, we can tell them how stupid they are. No, I'm not
Yeah,
going to do
no,
that.
no, I'm
So,
not telling them how stupid they are. They have degrees,
uh,
but use your degree right. You know what I mean? Get a degree that works. Get a hard science degree. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Go to trade school. That's Mike Rowe's big thing. Go to trade
that's
school,
his
learn
big thing.
something.
Yep, yep. All right, let's talk about fraud in Minnesota. Have you found any fraud anywhere, Christian?
Oh, there's fraud everywhere. It's unbelievable. I mean,
Everywhere.
it's just
Oh, it's
laying around.
crazy.
And I saw a video the other day where the Learning Center, they released a video of people showing up after Nick Shirley did his thing. That was after
Right.
like we're closed at 2. We don't open up till after school because it's an after school program. Well, if you look into the bylaws in the state, the law is if you're a child care provider, you have to be open at 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's the law. You can't have funding unless you're open from that time to that time. So, they just dude, nobody cares.
Nobody.
I'm convinced that nobody cares. I mean, it's when you're a Democrat at this point and you're supporting this, and you're not coming out against it. I mean, CNN's not coming out against it. I mean, really, it's ridiculous to me. And you know what? Where was Fox News on this? I mean, I gotta say, I was talking about that earlier. Where were they? Come on, this kid with hey, props to the guy. Props. I mean,
Nick
hey,
Shirley.
Nick Shirley, you killed it. Love you for it. I'm not knocking you at all. But the fact of the matter is, where was Fox News? We all know where CNN and MSLSD was at, right? We know where they were at.
So, Steve.
We know where they were at. They were doing
Mhm.
nothing and they were, effing Trump all day. But you Fox News, you should have been on this. $18 billion. I mean, I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, if Nick Shirley found out about it and he got on a plane and went out there and covered it, how did Fox News not know about it?
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere had to know something. I mean, props to this kid. Keep it up. I saw a thing the other day where crowdfund they're starting a whole company on this. They're going to start hiring people like Nick Shirley to go all over the state of California and find all this fraud. I can't wait for that.
So, just doing a little more research to figure out, okay, how much fraud in Minnesota has been confirmed so far? Because we know there's much more, and they're looking into much more. But so far, what's been confirmed is they've got this feed the families program. They know for sure that $250 million was just stolen. And
Right.
people have been prosecuted and are already facing judgment on that one. So we always say, well, nobody gets arrested for that one. People are getting arrested.
On that front, I watched the whole thing this morning, and I don't know if it was this morning or yesterday morning. The FBI, the grand jury, they had a lady, a Somalian lady, who flew in from Seattle to Minneapolis, followed this juror around, and offered her $500,000 or $200,000 in cash to make sure one of these people got off. They have her tracked. They have heat signatures. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, to be honest with you, how they got it, but they knew. I mean, like
Yeah.
they tracked the car, because she came and rented a car. She was here for 2 weeks. She was sat in front of the house 19 different times. They went to the person and said, "Hey, um, we didn't do this. Here's $500,000. This is a racist. This is a racist move by the president to attack the Somali community." So this lady called the FBI and said, "Hey, this is what's happening." So this is much bigger. This is much bigger than Minnesota. Hey, Seattle, they're coming to you next. They'll probably be in Portland soon too. And then, I mean,
Absolutely.
where the Somalis are at, that's where the problem is. And I'm not making that as a racist statement, but these are the facts. It is a crime network, and that's just the way it is. There's nothing I can do about it.
And it's really sad because, you watch some of these things on CNN and some of their quick little half-hour shows, and they're trying to make it racist, and it's
Right.
not racist at all. This is
It's not
just
racist at
fraud.
all. It's
It's
just
fraud.
it's straight fraud. It's straight fraud. And they brought it's a network, and I say Somalia, and I don't say that lightly, because they literally imported people into this country under the Biden administration to get them signed up on these programs all over the country to get people voted in, and they're paying them. If you're living in Somalia in a hut, and we're like, "Hey, we're going to fly you over here. We're going to get your paperwork. We're going to give you a house, and we're going to give you $8,000 a month. You're just going to have to claim this, 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 and this." Why wouldn't you do it?
Yep. So let's just finish up this Minnesota. So there's a Medicare Medicaid fraud that they've confirmed over $9 billion in Medicare fraud.
Yes.
That's a huge thing. They haven't convicted anybody, but they go after people for Medicare fraud. So there's going to be people get thrown in jail on
Now
that one.
that is the
Uh,
autism stuff, right? The autism, mental health, all of that.
all of that, yeah,
Okay,
all of
okay,
that, yeah,
okay,
yeah, and so that they're gonna, and I think it's even more than that. I think it's even Medicare fraud, where like durable medical equipment companies are charging Medicare for things that aren't being provided to older folks or
okay,
disabled folks.
okay,
So
okay.
it's a little bit bigger than that. Um, so we know we've got this childcare thing going on. There's nothing confirmed. They don't have any dollars yet, but there's going to be some more dollars there. So we're talking in Minnesota, they're pretty comfortable that there's been fraud somewhere. I'm going to use a bigger number, like 13 billion to 18 billion, but that's not including the child care money. So there's going to be some arrests here, more arrests. It's going to take some time, it appears.
And it's like I was saying, it takes time to build a case. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it does. And like I said, we need to back off Bondi a little bit. Just as long as she's doing it right. Now, come next year, if there's still nothing, I'm gonna have some things to say. But as of
Yep.
right now, it is what it is.
Hey, isn't it Vicky Johnson's birthday?
Yeah, happy birthday, Vicky. Saw that today. Hope you're having a wonderful day, brother.
Yeah,
Happy Valentine's
sister.
Day. Sorry, sister. Sorry.
All right. I want to go over some things that Trump has done well in his first year, okay? So I'm going to put my glasses on for this because
All
I got to
right.
read
All
it. I
right.
want to make sure I get this right. All
Man, we don't
right.
want to keep him here all day. I mean, that's a
I,
long list. That guy's been very successful.
no, no, I'm just hitting some key.
Uh,
Since he has been, we could be
yes.
here a long time, but we're not going to be. He's extended the 2017 tax cuts. Those are the biggest cuts ever in 2017. They're going forward. Starting 1/1/2026, no tax on overtime and tips. We know that one. California, they were all over this in the beginning. Now they're not going to allow it. I
No,
mean,
they're not going
go
to allow it.
figure.
Yeah, no, yeah. So if you live in California and you voted not to recall Governor Newsom, and if you vote for Swallowswell, just to be clear, you will be taxed
Yeah,
on tips and you will be taxed on overtime at a state level.
just
Ridiculous.
another reason not to vote for him.
Correct.
He's got the proposal for the $2,000 stimulus checks from the tariffs that he's collected. That hopefully that's all going to work. He gave $12 billion of aid to farmers. That's a big
Wow.
deal. These are
Yeah.
just money things.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
some of the biggest ones just came out. Growth in the third quarter, 4.5%. That's an incredible amount of growth in the United States. 4.5%. They were projecting it to be under 1%, 4.5%, and inflation is down to 2.7%. It was up in highs of around 9% when Biden was in
Correct.
office,
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
2 point in less than a year, Trump brought it down to 2.7%. Hey, he's doing some great things on all fronts. That's just some economic news since we've been talking money
Right.
and math and that kind
Right.
of stuff. So
Did you
that's really good.
go ahead?
I'm
Okay.
done. That's
I was watching a thing the other day, and I watched it yesterday quite a bit, and it was about the Dominion voting machines. And this is all
oh
coming
yeah.
out that they found
Oof.
them, yeah, because they were messing up in another country. I don't remember what country it was, but what's coming is all of this is starting to come to light, right? So, which is great because maybe Tucker will get his money back. He lost his job over it. Hey, this is what happened. If this comes out to be true, like I said, I'll say it again. They have stolen from you, the taxpayer. If you
Yep.
voted Republican and they cheated in this election, every tax that they imposed upon you is an illegal tax. Even, to me, they're all illegal, but it's an illegal tax because you didn't vote for that. They were installed illegally. Therefore, it's a grift and they stole your money, especially if they use it fraudulently after they did it.
Hey, if you've been watching this, drop us a comment. Tell us where you're from, anything. Just if you don't have anything to ask a question about, just tell us where you're from. Tell us that you've been listening. We appreciate it. We appreciate you watching the live stream. Christian, you got anything else to add?
No, I don't. Have a happy new year. Thank you all for joining us at Gen X Unhinged. Happy birthday to Vicky Johnson. Thank you, G-Man Productions and all the admins. Karen Herndon, you're doing a great job on the admin side of it. Rapper, Kid, y'all doing great. Thank you so much for your help and so much for your support. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you on Wednesday.
Yeah, your mic is cutting out, so we put the last quarter in. We'll talk to you later. Happy
All
New
right, see
Year's.
you later. Bye-bye.